My name is Rev Dr Barry King. I'd like to thank you for joining me today. I'd like to share with you part of an introduction that I'm doing for a book called About Being Psychic. One of the great distortions surrounding psychic and mediumistic experience is the assumption that such perceptions belong to a realm separate from ordinary life. Over many decades of work, I have found that the opposite is true. What people often imagine to be extraordinary unfolds quite simply within the fabric of everyday existence. I've spent much of my life engaged in conversations and interactions that many would consider unusual. I speak with individuals who are regarded as dead or gone, yet who, from my perspective, remain present within the larger continuum of consciousness we all share. These moments are often meaningful and often profound and can be deeply moving. And then, quite naturally, I return to the ordinary rhythms of my life. I may finish a session of communication with spirit and go make supper. There is nothing incongruous in this. No dramatic boundary crossed, no sensation of stepping between worlds. The same consciousness that allows subtle perception is the consciousness through which we live our daily lives. Much of the mystical framing applied to these experiences obscure something far simpler and far more human. Psychic sensitivity does not remove us from life. It does not suspend the ordinary. It exists comfortably alongside washing dishes and answering emails and walking the dog or preparing meals. What is often regarded as extraordinary reveals itself upon closer examination to be woven seamlessly into the ordinary. This has been one of the most enduring recognitions of my experience. The more deeply one understands subtle perception, the less exotic it appears. What remains is not mystery, but continuity. At the foundation of my work, and indeed at the foundation of what is commonly called psychic functioning and intuitive perception, lies something profoundly simple. Long before any interpretation or conceptual understanding arises, there is feeling. When I sit with the client, I feel them. This feeling is not imagined or metaphorical. It presents as a direct awareness of emotional tone, inner state, concerns, and often the unspoken questions that they carry. Is not something I attempt to create or to analyze. It is simply present at the beginning of the interaction. Over time, I have come to understand that this capacity is neither mysterious nor is it extraordinary. Feeling is the most basic language of human consciousness. We are constantly responding to one another at levels deeper than words, participating in a shared relational field of awareness. What is often described as psychic perception frequently emerges from this natural sensitivity. For me, feeling has always been the ground from which everything else unfolds. Impressions, insights, and perceptions do not arise in isolation. They emerge from a quiet attunement to the experiential field of another. In the course of this work, one of the most striking recognitions has been the simplicity of the experience itself. There is no inherent drama in it, no sense of spectacle, tension, nor performance. Nor is there fear or apprehension. There is simply awareness, calm, immediate, and natural in its character. Much of the cultural language surrounding psychic and spirit phenomena introduces elements that are not intrinsic to the experience, mystery, specialness, or otherworldliness. Yet, these are most often interpretations imposed afterward rather than qualities of perception itself. Another important aspect of this process, at least in my own experience, is that all of my senses may become engaged. I may see, hear, or feel impressions that others do not. At times, I may experience subtle sensory information, sounds, imagery, physical sensations, or even fragrances, all arising within a meaningful and coherent context. These experiences have never felt foreign or unnatural to me. I have lived and worked with this mode of perception for nearly 50 years, and what I have learned is not that it is extraordinary, but that it is normal, comfortable, and entirely consistent with the nature of consciousness itself. For more than 4 decades, I have had the privilege of teaching others to recognize and interpret these subtle dimensions of awareness. I have watched countless individuals discover that what they assume to be unusual or inaccessible is, in fact, a natural aspect of their own perceptual life. My work as an interfaith minister has further reinforced this understanding. Across traditions, cultures, and spiritual languages, there exists a shared recognition of a greater field of consciousness, a unifying ground of being to which human awareness is intimately connected. Some call us God, others use different names and terms. The language varies, but the unifying, underlying intuition remains remarkably consistent. Psychic and intuitive perception, when understood clearly, does not stand apart from this greater context. It arises from the same continuum of consciousness in which all experience unfolds, and through which all beings remain connected. This book is offered from that perspective, not to magnify mystery, but to reduce it, not to present psychic functioning as rare or extraordinary, but to place it back within the natural heritage of being human. You are spirit first. You are human. You are amazing. We are consciousness. Thank you for allowing me to share. I wish you love, peace, and joy, and hug someone you love. Thank you.